The Insured Zone. The Insured Zone with Bet Insured.
The FIFA Club World Cup has gotten to the quarterfinal stage, and I can tell you that some teams have made it to the next round. Talking about Palmeiras, Chelsea, also Bayern Munich, and the European champions, Paris Saint-Germain. Welcome to another interesting episode of the Ensure Zone podcast, brought to you by Bet Ensure, the biggest and the most reliable sport prediction platform in the world. I am FM Karik, and of course, the man beside me, the usual suspect, Kaka, is in the building. Kaka, how are you doing this week?
I'm great. I'm wonderful. It feels good to be back to talk about it. Do what we know how to do best.
Of course.
How are you doing yourself?
Of course, I'm doing great. But then action continues in the FIFA Club World Cup. We saw what Paris Saint-Germain did to Inter Miami. We also saw how Chelsea came back strong and, of course, convincingly won their game. Looking to the next round, what do you think will happen in the next round? We should just brief over it before we get into it properly.
Yeah. It's gotten to the stage where we are starting to separate men
from the boys.
At this stage, I think the quality is starting to show, which from the start of the tournament, I felt that was going to be the case. You look at the game between PSG and Inter Miami, and the difference was clear. I mean, the game was over in the first half.
Of course.
The same thing again with Chelsea and Benfica, although they are both European teams, but I think at the end of the day, I thought the game was close at the point, but I thought at the point it came to individual James free kick.
Okay.
And before
that James sent him.
Before the Thunder strike and everything, and Benfica came back into the game. And going into the next round, I think we are about to see much more quality football going forward now. I think majority of the teams that have qualified now, they tend
to be stronger.
Exactly.
Of course.
And the matchup, I think they are mouth watching. I look forward to Bayern Munich against PSG most especially.
But guys, we still have 4 more games to go in the round of 16. And then we will see the 4 teams that will make it through to the quarterfinals. But before we continue on the podcast this weekend, let's check out the result of our prediction from last weekend, where we dropped some fantastic prediction, and I am sure you guys have gone to the back smiling. Yes, welcome back. It's still the Ensure Zone podcast, brought to you by Bet Ensure, the biggest and the most reliable sport prediction platform in the world. Make sure you like, share, and also subscribe. And do put on the notification button to get more interesting content from us whenever it drops. And also sign up on www.betensure.com to get interesting prediction across all sports. Now, straight into it. The first game we will be talking about yes, we will be going to the quarterfinals now. We want to see the 2 teams, the 4 teams that have qualified, the 2 games that have been lined up already. Palmeiras versus Chelsea. Palmeiras, a fantastic win against Botafogo, and also for Chelsea, like you said, they went over Benfica to book their place. This game is a really tough one. If you look at the quality that Palmeiras also have.
Yeah, it is. And I think they are similar. They are quite similar to Flamengo. And in the group stages, Flamengo, I think they were victorious against Chelsea, and they brought their A game. And they were victorious against Chelsea, and I thought they deserved that win against Chelsea. They played really, really well. They were aggressive. I mean, they were tenacious. And, they play really beautiful football, in Flamengo. And I think the same goes for Palmeiras as well. Over the course of the tournament, I've seen them. And, defensively, they are solid. And, going forward, they can hold you. So, coming into this one against Chelsea, in their match against Benfica, I thought they were really dominant until probably the latter stages of it. They were dominant against Benfica. At the point, it felt like the goal was not going to come.
But then the captain stepped
up. And so I think if Chelsea go about their business the way they did against Benfica, and they camped Palmeiras. I mean, they don't allow them to play their football. They don't allow them to be aggressive. I think, and they take their chances, which is very, very important because it was getting frustrating at the point because just were creating loads of chances,
but couldn't find the back of the net.
Find the back of the net. But I think coming into this one, Palmeiras would. They can hold you, and I'm sure Chelsea would definitely be preparing for that. But I'll still lean towards Chelsea going into the semi-final.
Of course, Chelsea will likely make it to the semi-finals. Guys, let's check out our prediction for the game between Palmeiras and Chelsea. And now on to the big one. Yes, the big one. Two giants are about to clash. And wherever two giants clash, the battleground suffers. Yes, Paris Saint-Germain will be taking on Bayern Munich. Bayern in this competition so far has been very, very convincing. You can see the area of talents. Harry Kane, the big man in front, always delivering. He can score any kind of goals. And talking about Paris Saint-Germain, the European champion, there's nothing to talk about them. They are fantastic. This game is one game to look for.
Yeah, I think it's another interesting fixture that the Club World Cup has in place for us. I mean, what can we say about PSG?
Of course.
In my opinion, they are currently the best team in the world. I mean, left to me, they play their football, they score for fun. I mean, they create chances, and if they are taking most of their chances against Inter Miami, we could have been talking the scoreline. Bayern against Auckland. Right now. But yeah, Bayern Munich on the other side, I think they dealt with Flamengo quite professionally. I think they went about that game, and Flamengo.
Give a good fight because I see them fighting back at two beautiful goals. Also,
it shows. They've represented South American football very well. Flamengo, they could go, and hold up their head high and say, no, they've been fantastic in this tournament. Bayern Munich is another European giant, and of course, you can't take that away from them. Coming into this one, Bayern Munich against PSG, I'm sure we will not be disappointed in the quality of football. And I expect to see a lot of goals in this one. But I think PSG might just sneak this. Why? I think over the course of 6 months, PSG, I think they've not struggled to score goals. And some important matches towards the end of last season, Bayern Munich they've been found wanting, especially in the Champions League. I was not expecting them to, against Inter Milan. I was not really expecting them to go out.
Everyone actually were tipping them to make it past Inter Milan.
Well, this is a one-time game. Of course. Anything could definitely happen. But individual brilliance, quality of the team.
The blue side do have it.
They do have it. But I still think PSG still make this one.
Before we leave there, I want to talk about a particular player, Joao Neves. This man will talk in his jersey from start to finish, very serious, very disciplined, and very, very effective. Such a quality player in the middle of the pack for Paris Saint-Germain.
Yes.
You think? I think what makes PSG very strong is their midfield.
Yeah, their midfield, I think, is one of the most, I would say, I use the word balanced. It's the most balanced midfield in Europe. Joao Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz. They fit so well. When in the first 50 minutes, the start of the second half, I think the coach took out Fabian Ruiz against Inter Miami, and there was a big difference. There was a big difference already. So yeah, Joao Neves especially. Oh my God, what a player! He does everything. He could tackle.
2 goals against Inter Miami.
He could tackle. He could score. He could pick out a pass. And I think, they are just a joy to watch. PSG, and they are just a joy to watch. And I think that is why I am tipping them. I think because of the balance in the midfield, that's why I'm tipping them to get over Bayern.
Of course, we are actually tipping Paris Saint-Germain to make it through to be a worthy battle. Yes, we have Joshua Kimmich in Bayern and Joao Neves Vitinha, all of them in the Paris Saint-Germain team. What a battle this will be. Guys, let's check our prediction for the game between Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich. And guys, we still have a lot of prediction lined up for you, of course, to keep you smiling. Our expert right here at Bet ensure that, yes, you have specially created a 20 order. Yes, we call it the 20 order weekend banker. Yes, it is on 1xBet. Let's check it out. And before we take our leave, yes, we needed to enter into the transfer market because a lot of signings are going on. But then, Kaka, I'll be starting from this very emotional one, talking about the man Paul Pogba is back to football. Monaco has given him the chance to return back to action, and Pogba was so emotional while signing that contract. Do you think Pogba is a victim of circumstance, or do you think, a lot of players have been facing the allegation of giving attitude and not being serious? Is he one of those players, and has he suffered from some of his acts?
I would say he's just a victim of circumstances. Every player, every now and then, they always face this issue of attitude or no attitude. At the end of the day, we are all human beings.
Of course.
Their life does not. Majority of their life revolves around football, but you still have to have a life outside. I think the issue that happened to him, I think it was not intentional.
Of course.
That was why
he had a lot of family challenge. And everything was just happening.
I'm definitely sure he has learned his lesson. And it's a good thing that he's in his country. Monaco.
Of course.
It's one of the top teams in Europe, and good thing is they're in the Champions League. And I think this is a very, very fantastic
move for him.
I would probably say he's in the peak of his career.
Of course.
And I still think there is a player in there.
Of course, so you can't deny the quality Pogba brings. Is it from the passes, the dribbles? He can play as a 6, as a 10. Yeah. Fantastic player any day, anytime.
And still, he definitely still has some quality around him. He has Antonio Martial, Minamino, and Sufati.
A lot of them. Monaco are looking like they really want to compete.
And I do think if they get those guys back to full fitness, and they tick, and I'm sure they could bring out the best from each other. And I still think Pogba still have quite a lot to offer football.
Of course, Paul Pogba still have quite a lot to offer for football. But then let's go straight to England and let's talk about some of these transfers that are going on. Chelsea looks like one of the most serious teams because we have seen what Liverpool have done. They brought in Florian Wirtz, who looks like the only place that they really need to gel in. But then I still feel they need a striker, but they haven't talked about a striker yet. We are still looking at Victor Gyökeres and Victor Osimhen, where they'll be ending up. But for Chelsea, they are going for the Borussia Dortmund man, Jamie Gittens, and also your Pedro is almost at Chelsea. What exactly is Enzo Maresca cooking at Chelsea?
I think Enzo Maresca is a system manager. Quite a lot of managers these days, they've been tilting towards this systematic approach to their managerial careers. And the signings of these players, I think they were able to sign Jadon Sancho permanently. I think that was why they went for Jamie Gittens. And I think that is an area that I think they needed to strengthen.
The left wing.
And the Joao Pedro signing, I think Palmer most of the time does it alone. And when he's not in the team, I think Chelsea struggles to create a lot of chances. And I think that is why he's been brought in. Not probably to replace Palmer.
Palmer, yeah.
And I think
he's a player that can play as a 9, he can play as a 10, and also on the wing. He's very versatile.
And that is what I call systematic manager. They love this. They call them Swiss Army players. I mean, when you have the ability, to be versatile, it gives you the chance to play more often. And I think in this Maresca system, he loves playing with a lot of inside forwards.
Of course. That can drift in,
drift out, and play on the wings. So I think that one is a smart signing for me. And Jamie Gittins, on the other hand, a lot of people might not have heard about him, but he's very, very rapid. He is.
As for me, I need to be very sincere because I think he hasn't done much in the Bundesliga but I know if you spot potential, if you see someone who has talent, you can always tell. But then I feel sometimes we need to allow this talent, mature to a certain stage before we bring them onto the bigger stage. I thought he could still develop more at Dortmund.
Yeah, he could, but I feel like he himself feels like he's ready for the big stage. I mean, he's been there for a couple of years, and I think same thing goes for I think when Chelsea signed Palmer. I think when Borussia Dortmund signed Jadon Sancho before he went to Manchester United. I think these guys, if you are good, I feel you are good.
Of course.
So I've seen his clips. He's a very effective dribbler. And he loves to take a lot of shots. And I think with playing with quality players all around him, I think he has the quality to actually deliver for Chelsea.
Yes, he has the quality to deliver for Chelsea, guys. And that's it for this week on the Short Zone podcast. We'll make a return next week, and then we'll be talking more about the goings and the doings in the transfer window. And now don't forget to like, share, subscribe to our channel, and also put on the notification button to get interesting content from us whenever it drops. Also sign up on www.betensure.com to get interesting and professional prediction across all sports. Big thank you to Kaka for making it here once again.
It's my pleasure, as always. Thanks for having me.
Of course, I am FM Karik, and I want to say right here on the Short Zone podcast that we don't just predict the future, we ensure it. Bye for now.